Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda Marsalis. Welcome to Heard It on the Shark. I'll be your show host, and Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area is your show sponsor. Heard It on the Shark is a weekly interview show that airs every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on the Shark 102.3 FM radio station based in Ripley, Mississippi. Then it's released as a podcast on all the major podcast platforms. You'll hear interviews with the movers and shakers in North Mississippi who are making things happen. I'll talk to entrepreneurs, leaders of business, medicine, education, and the people behind all the amazing things happening in North Mississippi. When people ask you, how did you know about that? You'll say, I heard it on the Shark. Heard It on the Shark is brought to you by the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area. We want you to get out and discover the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of the Mississippi Hills that are right in your backyard. And of course, we want you to take the Shark 102.3 FM along for the ride. Musical credit belongs to Hill Country Blues guitar legend Gary Burnside and the late great Buddy Grisham, playing Long Way Home from their album Acoustic Brothers, which was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
This program was recorded at Sun Bear Studio in Ripley, Mississippi.
Hey Shark fans, it's Melinda with another episode of Heard It on the Shark. And today in Sun Bear Studio, I have Mr. Mitch Voyles of Voyles Automotive here in Ripley. And we're going to talk about mainly getting your car ready for cold weather. Now, we just lived through the first cold snap of 2025. And so I'm sure that some of your cars did not do very well in the cold. If you're like me, you don't think about it till it's too late. So we're going to talk to Mitch today about getting your car ready for cold weather and just general car maintenance, and find out a little bit more about his place, Voyles Automotive in Ripley. So Mitch, thanks for taking time. I know you're such a busy person. Thanks for coming over.
You're very welcome. We've got a place, 700 Ashland Road, right here in Ripley. A lot of people might not know the address, but it is the old ADF shop. We're on Google. You can call, text, set up an appointment straight from Google. You can text the number, 662-512-8267. While we'll return everybody's calls, we're crazy busy, so sometimes I may not answer the phone, but I will always get back to you.
Let's talk about what we should have done before this last cold snap. What should you do to get your car ready for the winter?
Well, the number one thing is you want to have your antifreeze tested. It has a freezing point. In Alaska, it might be 30 below. Here in Ripley, it might be 0. You always want your antifreeze freezing point a little bit lower than what you know it's going to be. You don't want to pick 30 degrees because it's well colder than that when we have what's coming this weekend. With no antifreeze, you end up with damaged engine parts, no heat if you're stuck on the side of the road. You don't have any way to keep warm if the antifreeze is not correct and the engine's not running. The antifreeze and the engine heat is what provides the heat for the inside of the car. It's not electric.
I did not realize that antifreeze, I always think about antifreeze as far as you're keeping it cool in the car, so it's important for the cool and the heat.
Yes, ma'am. It protects the engine and keeps it at a specific temperature. You've got a radiator, which cools the engine, but you've also got a heater core, which the coolant flows through the engine, water pump, radiator, heater core. It just circulates. The radiator makes sure that the temperature is maintained at a specific temperature, but as the doors are open in the dash when you've got your heat on, the heat from the coolant warms the heater core, and that's what actually provides your heat. So if you don't have coolant at all, you don't have any heat, that's the first sign of maybe a leak or anything like that of something being wrong, is you lose your heat. Could be another item, but mainly the first thing to always check is the antifreeze.
Okay, so if you haven't had your antifreeze checked in a while, you need to get on to you or somebody, some mechanic somewhere.
Now, most cars nowadays, they come with 5-year quality antifreeze in it. It's always wise to have it checked because somebody may have done a repair and just put water back in the system thinking the color looked fine. The color does not mean anything when it comes to the freezing point. So if the antifreeze is not strong enough, then it will freeze.
If you haven't done that yet, go get that done. And I imagine tires are a problem in the wintertime also.
Yeah, I have a theory that thicker tread prevents nails. Low tires skid in the rain. Make sure they're inflated properly. Alignment's not off. If the car's pulling to the left or the right and you're not paying attention, the next thing you know, you're in another car or the ditch.
Oh, yeah, with no heat.
Yeah.
Now, I know that's not all that you do. You're not changing the antifreeze in people's car all day long. What is it you normally are doing?
Well, we're a full-service facility. We do timing chains, head gaskets, oil pumps, water pumps, engine replacement, transmissions to an extent. We've got a couple of partners with that. We don't actually do in-house wheel bearings. Anything you can think of, we can take care of it. Custom work, LS swaps, race cars.
Now, that brings me to what you started with, which is the way to get in touch with you. I know that you are super busy, and that's a sign of a great, successful anywhere when you're so busy, like a restaurant where you can never get a table. It's the same thing. You like for people to text you their problems. So talk about that. How'd you set that up?
It came about because I'm not always able to answer the phone. It rings and rings, and I stop what I'm doing, and I go to the phone, and then I come back, and I'm trying to pick up where I left off, and it rings again, and you don't get much done. So in order to spend more time on your car, I recommend that we text. Now, I do place phone calls. I call everybody back, but you can text me the issue of the car. I've automatically got your phone number saved. You know, I can go back to the text. If you tell me the issues in a text, when I get to your car, I can go back. There's a record of everything you told me to handle. I can make sure it's handled. You can text from Google. You can call from Google. You can get directions from Google, and all that was easy to set up.
You can text from Google. So if people look for Voyles Automotive, they'll find you, and they can set up the whole conversation with you.
You can just click on the message tab, send a message, or you can click on directions, or you can click on call, and Google will do the rest, and the messages will come straight to my phone.
Shark fans are from all over Northeast Mississippi, not Ripley. And are your clients also from all over?
Yes, ma'am. We have cars from Alabama, Tennessee, South Haven. We've got people that'll drive 2 hours to come to our shop. That's something we're very proud of. We just try to give what you ask, nothing more, nothing less. We just try to make sure everybody's okay. This is a fun job to have. I do it because I love it.
Mitch, is this what you've done all your life?
Yes, ma'am.
From straight out of high school, did you?
I'm 45 years old. I've been getting paid for probably 30 years of my life doing this.
Working on cars all your life. And you just knew from a young age that you loved it.
Racing is what got me into this, and we drag race. It's fun. Ever since I was a little kid, we used to go to Riverside Speedway, West Memphis, Arkansas, or Memphis Motorsports Park. Times you'll never forget. It's just fun, provides smiles that you can't buy, and that's what got me in the automotive field, and I've been in it my whole life.
Do you drive the race cars?
I do. Build it, own it, and drive it.
Still, like to this day. Are you like a speed demon, a speed freak?
I guess you could call it that.
Okay, you just love the excitement of that.
It's an adrenaline rush, that's for sure.
And you redo the cars, like you paint them, all the fancy stuff.
We do some of the paint. We don't do a lot of custom paint anymore, but we do a lot of the mechanical, a lot of fabrication.
What would you say to a person that's like you, 15, 18 years old? They might want to get into this business. It's not easy.
Nothing's easy if it's worth having. It's fun, but it is with anything, you've got to stick with it. There's bad days, there's good days. But at the end of the day, it's a good day. Every day, you get another chance to come back in at 8 o'clock in the morning, open the door, turn the lights on, and start over. No matter what happened yesterday, or no matter how the job went, or no matter how bad the car was, tomorrow's a new day. And you just don't give up. You can't. What
is important to make a good business owner and a good person that people will trust with their cars?
The first thing you got to do is want it. Personally, for me, and not to sound out of the way, but just getting by is not good enough. I set the bar higher every day. With any business, that's the way you need to be. If you want to make money, you got to do what you say you're going to do and do it good. And if you can't do that, you're not going to make it. But you just have to take time, do it right, and everything will come and fall in place.
All right, Mitch, if somebody has heard this and has said, oh, man, I really need to get my car fixed up and ready for before another cold freeze comes, tell them how to get in touch with you.
Google Voyles Automotive and Performance in Ripley, Mississippi. You can call or text 662-512-8267 or just come by at 700 Ashland Road here in Ripley.
Okay, thanks, Mitch. I'll let you get back to your shop and get after it.
Thank you much. We appreciate it.
Okay, Shark fans, that's it for this edition of Heard It on the Shark. Tune in every Tuesday at 11 a.m. to find out what's going on from local community leaders. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion for an interview, or if you want access to this interview, go to our website, shark1023.com, and click on the podcast tab. Keep it tuned to the Shark 1023 and have a great rest of the day.
The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area was established by the United States Congress in 2009 and represents a distinctive cultural landscape shaped by the dynamic intersection of Appalachian and Delta cultures. This intersection has produced a powerful concentration of nationally significant cultural icons, including King of Rock and Roll Elvis Presley, First Lady of Country Music Tammy Wynette, blues legend Howlin' Wolf, civil rights icons Ida B. Wells Barnett and James Meredith, America's favorite playwright Tennessee Williams, and Nobel laureate William Faulkner. The stories of the Mississippi Hills are many and powerful, from music and literature to Native American and African American heritage to the Civil War. The Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area supports the local institutions that preserve and share Northeast Mississippi's rich heritage. Begin your discovery of the historic, cultural, natural, scenic, and recreational treasures of our region by visiting the Mississippi Hills National Heritage Area online at mississipphills.org.
This show is made possible by JC Media, LLC in Ripley, Mississippi. JC Media owns the Shark 102.3 Classic Rock FM radio station where the show is hosted, and Sun Bear Recording Studio where the interviews are recorded. We need your feedback and support. If you listen to the podcast on a player like iTunes, Google Podcast, or Amazon Music, please subscribe to the show and leave us a review. We also have an email in which you can share your feedback. That email is theshark1023@gmail.com. Subscribe to our podcast on your favorite app or stream episodes online at shark1023.com/podcasts. Today's episode was produced by Melinda Marsalis. It was edited by Rick Williams and engineered by Chris Marsalis. The podcast technician is Joyce Grady.